Saturn. Say anything? I was going to talk about the Hebrew Israelites and their worship of Saturn.
Of Saturn?
That's the thing. No, I'm just thinking about that. It pertains to, they have a certain thing that was called the cult of El, which pretty much every suffix inside of Judaism religion or Hebrew religion always ends with El, like Elohim. You have angels' names, Gabriel, Michael, Uriel, everything starts and ends with the suffix of El.
That's because there was a deity called El, or Baal, right? He was, there was of the ancient Egyptian deities who walked the earth. They went by many names. You know what I'm saying? Enki went by the name of the Lord in the Bible. Whereas, if you look at the book of Genesis, right? Genesis chapter 1 all the way up to chapter 2, verse 6, it's constantly saying God did this, God did that, the word of the Elohim, right? But then as you go on, chapter Genesis 2:7, it's now starting to say, and the Lord God, which now means Yahweh Elohim. So now it's pointing out one of them. You follow? Well, if it's pointing out one particularly now, that means it wasn't talking about one individual before. So there were many different deities that are actually recorded within the Bible. As a plagiarized story, we realize from the original story, there was many different deities going on. And they try to relate it by saying many different angels did different things, but it was really these deities. You follow? And then, as we go along according to the story of history, and these religions are created, and these deities are becoming the deities of those religions. You follow? They take on different names based on the language. You follow? Like you call on God, Allah, Jehovah, Jesus. It's all the same deity, which was the great deity Bes of ancient Egypt, who was the brother of Ptah, who was known as Enki in the Sumerian doctrine, and Bes, who was known as Enlil in the Sumerian doctrine. These were the two sons of the Most High Anu. You follow? So the reality of it is, different names have been attributed to different deities based on the people, the days and time they were in, the language they were speaking. You follow? So it's important that we come to know exactly who's being spoken about when we're looking at these stories and trying to discern and decipher between what's going on and who's saying what. The problem with religion today is based on unfactual information. So something as just totally ridiculous that there's only one God and all of these stories are talking about him and him alone. When he's standing there having conversations with people like him to say, let us create a man in our image after our likeness, that means he's talking to someone who looks like him, who acts like him, and he's saying the two of us are going to get together and do this creation thing. He didn't say, I'm going to create a man in our, he said, let us create. So there's a plurality of things going on here, including the deity.
But you know something, I seen something inside of the dictionary one day, kind of threw me off, because I was studying the word us, we, our. And if it's used by a sovereign or a deity or something that has a certain higher rank in life, whatever in between, they usually say that it applies to I.
Who?
I. The word we, us, and our. If it's used by a sovereign power, it can be used in singular.
Only because a sovereign power would be looked at as a person. You know what I'm saying? When you're talking about nouns, person, place, and things, yes, maybe. If you're talking about a thing, you know what I'm saying? Or a nation. Follow? When you're talking about an individual, you have to have some way in our language to determine the difference between individuals, plurality.